Deep space was silent. Not the normal kind of silence. This was a heavy silence, a silence that felt wrong. Every star looked dimmer. Every nebula looked colder. Something was changing in the galaxy and nobody knew why. For months, strange reports came in from many empires. Human fleets, alien fleets, even pirate fleets. All were sending the same message. Ships missing. Planets dark. No survivors. And then, nothing. Total quiet. Whole regions of space became empty. No signals. No life. Only darkness. Scientists tried to explain it. Some said it was a new kind of cosmic storm. Others blamed a superweapon from an unknown empire. Some believed the universe itself was dying. But the truth was even more terrifying. Far away from all this fear, a small human scout ship drifted through deep space. It was a simple vessel, only 4 crew members, built for exploration, not war. They were scanning an empty sector, a place with no planets, no asteroids, no life. Nothing important. Or so they thought. As the ship passed through the silence, a sudden beep echoed through the bridge. Signal detected. The crew froze. The signal was strong. And full of danger. The captain leaned closer to the display. A single line flashed on the screen. Unknown source, danger level, extreme. The ship's sensors started shaking. The lights flickered. Something massive was nearby. The navigator zoomed in on the source and slowly, a shape appeared on the screen. At first it looked like a mountain. A huge dark figure standing on a floating piece of rock in the middle of empty space. The crew stared in confusion. No planet should be here, one whispered. No object this big should be here, another added. The ship moved closer. Slowly the darkness cleared, and the shape became clear. It was not a mountain. It was not a ship. It was not even alive. It was a giant machine. A war robot. Humanoid in shape. Over 300 meters tall. Its armor glowed like burning amber, faint and ancient, as if lit from the inside by dying fire. It stood perfectly still. Like a guardian waiting forever. Like a statue built by gods. The crew fell silent. This was no normal machine. This was something from a forgotten age. The captain ordered a scan. The results came back instantly, and shocked everyone. Power level, unknown. The machine's energy readings were beyond the scanner's limit. Age, 900,000 years. Almost 1 million years old. Older than human civilization. Older than most known empires. Status, active. The crew felt their blood run cold. A machine this old should be dead. Broken. Thus. But this one was alive. Watching. Waiting. Suddenly the machine moved. Not a full movement, just a twitch. A finger. A slight turn of the head. But in the silent dark, it felt like thunder. The crew gasped. They could hear their own heartbeats. The amber giant slowly lifted its head, as if waking from a long dream. 2 lines appeared across its face. Not cracks but eyes. For a moment they were dark. Then, boom. Bright golden light exploded from the robot's eyes. The light was so strong it blinded the ship's cameras. Every screen turned white. Alarms screamed. The crew covered their faces. Shut down the sensors. Reduce light input, the captain shouted. After a few seconds the white faded, and the giant's glowing eyes stared directly at them. The robot was awake. The humans did not move, did not breathe, did not speak. They were face to face with something ancient, powerful, and completely unknown. The giant lifted its head higher. Its armor pulsed with amber energy. The rock beneath it cracked from the pressure. Then slowly, very slowly, the robot's mouth opened. A deep voice echoed through the void. It was not human, not mechanical. It was something in between. Old, heavy, and filled with warning. Warning. The crew stiffened. The giant continued. The infinite is coming. Every human on the ship felt ice in their veins. The infinite? What was that? A species? A weapon? A cosmic disaster? The robot said nothing more. It simply stared at them, glowing brighter and brighter, as if preparing for something. The captain whispered, "What have we found?" But deep inside everyone knew the truth. This robot was not just a machine. It was a soldier from a forgotten war. A survivor of something terrible. Something powerful enough to erase fleets and planets. And now, that same threat was returning. The humans had awakened the last guardian, the Amber Titan. And its warning was clear. The infinite is coming. The story of fear had only just begun. The human scout ship stayed frozen in space. No one dared to move. No one dared to speak. The amber giant stood on the floating rock, its glowing eyes fixed on them like two burning suns. The captain tried to stay calm, but his voice shook. Open a new scan. Slow. Careful. I want to know everything about this thing. The navigator nodded and started the scan again, this time with maximum caution. The results were even stranger than before. The machine had no visible power source. No fuel lines. No energy cores. Yet its body was full of power, deep, ancient energy like a star trapped inside metal. The crew scientist whispered, "This technology is impossible." She zoomed in on the Titan's chest. The amber armor looked like metal but also like crystal. A strange mix of science and something that felt almost alive. As she studied it, one thing became clear. This machine was not built by humans. Not by any known empire. Not even by the old galactic races. It came from something older, far older. The captain slowly stepped closer to the main window, staring at the giant. "Why is it here?" he murmured. "Why alone? Why on this rock?" The scientist checked more data. Her face went pale. "Captain, look at this." She brought up a map of the region. The star system where the Titan stood was not just empty, it was erased. 4 planets were missing. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Gone. Vanished like they had never existed. The crew exchanged looks filled with fear. "What power can remove planets?" the navigator whispered. The room fell silent again. Suddenly the Titan moved. Not fast. Not dangerous. But slow and deliberate, like waking from a dream. It raised one arm. The hand opened, pointing toward a distant direction in space. The humans watched carefully. A small device, floating like a hologram, activated above the Titan's palm. It showed a star map. The crew gasped. They recognized the stars. It was a map of the galaxy, but very different. Countless regions were marked in bright amber. Others were crossed out. Some were simply empty. The Titan spoke again, its voice deep and ancient. "This galaxy has forgotten." Everyone stiffened. The robot continued. "My creators fought the infinite. Their worlds fell. Their empire died. But one task remained." The floating map changed. A symbol appeared, 2 circles overlapping, surrounded by dark flames. "Contain the infinite. Guard the line." The captain whispered, "Guard? For how long?" The Titan replied without emotion. 900,000 years. The crew looked at each other in shock. This machine had been standing here, alone, for almost 1,000,000 years. Watching. Waiting. Fighting an enemy that no longer existed in memory. The scientist slowly approached the screen showing the Titan's map. "Captain, this map, it is not just history. It is a warning." The amber markings were spreading across the galaxy like infection. And the places marked dark. Those were the lost regions humans heard about, the places where fleets and planets had vanished. The Titan lowered its hand. The hologram faded. The giant turned its head slightly toward the humans. "The infinite consumes all. Energy. Matter. Stars. Life." The captain swallowed hard. "What does it want?" The Titan's reply came instantly. "Everything." The crew felt a heavy chill. Then the machine's chest opened slightly. Not enough to reveal its core, but enough to show a glowing symbol. The symbol pulsed like a heartbeat. The Titan said, "My creators are gone. Their armies destroyed. Their worlds silent." Its voice grew deeper. "I am the last soldier, the last guardian, the last memory of a dead empire." The scientist whispered, "Then why give us this warning? Why show us the map?" The Titan slowly lifted its head, looking far into the distance. Far beyond human sensors. "Because the infinite has returned." The words hit the crew like thunder. The navigator suddenly shouted, "Captain, I'm detecting something." The screens flickered. Deep in the distance, a faint distortion appeared in space. Like a crack in reality. Energy levels rising. Gravity shifting. Radiation spiking. The Titan turned fully toward the distortion. Its amber body glowed brighter, as if preparing for battle. The giant spoke again louder. "The breach opens. The infinite comes. Prepare." The crew felt their hearts race. "Prepare how?" the captain asked, almost shouting. The Titan looked back at the small human ship. Its glowing eyes softened just a little. For the first time it sounded almost human. "Do not run. Do not hide. Stand." The captain stared at the ancient machine. A lone soldier standing against a threat that destroys galaxies. A guardian that never gave up. A warrior waiting almost 1,000,000 years for backup. And now finding only a tiny human ship. The captain took a deep breath. "Crew," he said quietly. "We stay." Outside their window, the first shadows of the infinite began to form. The Titan's amber armor burned brighter. The ancient war was starting again. And humanity had just joined it. Not normal darkness. This darkness felt alive, like something was swallowing the light. The crew watched the distant distortion on the screen. At first it looked small, like a tiny tear in space. But every second it grew wider, longer, more unstable. The captain whispered, "Is that the breach?" The scientist nodded slowly, her voice shaking. "Yes. And something is coming through." The Titan stood firm on its floating rock. Its amber armor glowed brighter and brighter, lighting up the empty darkness like a rising sun. The humans could feel the power building inside it. Ancient, deep, almost alive. Then the Titan spoke, its voice steady and cold. "Prepare yourselves. The infinite arrives." The humans did not know what the infinite looked like. No one in the modern galaxy had ever seen them. But they were about to learn. The breach ripped open with a silent flash. No sound, no shockwave. Just pure tearing reality. Something moved inside the tear. At first it was only a shadow. A shape with no clear form. Like smoke floating in water. But then the shadow grew limbs. Tendrils. Eyes that were not eyes. Its body shimmered between shapes, never staying solid. It was half liquid, half shadow, and completely wrong. The navigator gasped. What is that thing?" The Titan answered. "A scout of the infinite. A feeder. A destroyer of small worlds." The word small made the crew feel sick. If this thing was a small one, what did a large one look like? The creature floated forward, slow but hungry. Every star behind it dimmed. Every piece of light it passed died instantly. The human ship's power flickered. The scientist shouted, "It's draining our energy." But before panic could spread, the Titan moved. Boom. Not sound. Shuck. The rock beneath the Titan cracked as the giant jumped forward, launching itself into space. A trail of amber light blazed behind it. The Titan raised its arm, energy gathering around its hand like a miniature sun. The humans watched in awe. The giant slammed its palm forward, and a beam of golden light shot out. The beam hit the infinite creature directly. For a moment, the shadow twisted in pain. The form shook, crackled, shattered, but then reformed again. The captain's voice broke. "It survived?" The Titan responded, still moving through space. "The infinite cannot be killed easily, but they can be slowed." The creature screeched. Not with sound, but with vibration that shook the ship from the inside. It lunged at the Titan, tendrils whipping forward like blades. The Titan blocked the strike with its forearm. Dark energy ate at its armor, leaving black scars across the amber plates. The humans could barely watch. "Captain, should we help?" The navigator's voice trembled. The captain clenched his fists. "What can we do? That thing would destroy our ship with a touch." The scientist looked up, determination shining in her eyes. "Maybe we can't fight, but we can support. Boost scans, track movement, warn the Titan." The captain nodded. "Do it." They activated every sensor. Outside, the Titan threw a punch that looked like a meteor impact. Each strike produced shockwaves of golden light. But the infinite creature adapted. Its form grew larger, faster, more aggressive. It wrapped tendrils around the Titan's arm and pulled. The ancient machine slid backward, metal grinding. The Titan's voice echoed. "Alert, the creature is growing." The scientist shouted, "Captain, the breach is expanding. Something bigger is coming." The screen showed the tier widening again. This time, multiple shapes appeared inside. More shadows. More feeders. The captain felt fear grab his chest. "How many are there?" The Titan answered. "Endless." But before despair could settle, the Titan raised both arms. Amber symbols across its body lit up like runes. The giant shouted, its voice like thunder shaking the vacuum. "Ancient protocol, solar gate, activate." A circle of light opened behind the Titan. A small artificial sun burst forth, radiating pure energy. The humans stared with wide eyes. "Is that a star?" the navigator whispered. The Titan redirected the newborn star's energy into its chest. Amber armor burned brighter than ever. Then the Titan unleashed a storm. A wave of golden fire exploded outward, engulfing the infinite scout. The creature screamed, collapsing into dust-like particles. But the victory was short. The breach in space pulsed. 3 more shadows slipped out. The Titan steadied itself, tightening its fists. The giant spoke without fear. "The infinite are endless. But so is my duty." The captain slammed his fist on the console. We can't leave it alone. Humanity won't run. He activated the ship's weapons. Small compared to the Titan but symbolic. Lasers powered on. Missile bays opened. Energy cannons charged. The crew looked at their captain. You want us to fight? He nodded. We stand with the Titan. Even if our weapons do nothing. We let it know it is not fighting alone anymore. The shadows advanced. The Titan prepared its next attack. The human ship locked onto targets. The ancient war had begun again. And this time, humanity was part of it. Space shook with silent violence. 3 new infinite creatures emerged from the breach. Larger, darker, and more twisted than the first scout. Their bodies flowed like liquid shadow, changing shape every second. Eyes formed, then vanished. Tendrils split, then fused again. They looked hungry. The human crew watched in terror as the massive shadows drifted toward the Titan. The scientist whispered, "These are not scouts. These are hunters." The Titan stood between the creatures and the tiny human ship, its glowing amber body shining like a lone torch in an endless night. Without turning its head, the Titan spoke. "Stay behind me. Your lives are under my protection." The captain nodded even though the Titan couldn't see him. Crew, prepare for battle. Everyone on the ship tightened their belts, powered the shields, and locked their eyes on the ancient giant outside. The 3 infinite hunters moved first. The middle one expanded its body into a huge spinning disc. A blade made of darkness. It flew toward the Titan with terrifying speed. The Titan raised its arm and blocked the strike. Boom. The impact threw sparks of black and gold across the void. A shockwave rippled out, shaking the human ship like a leaf in a storm. "Hold shields," the captain yelled. The Titan pushed the disc-shaped creature back. Its body twisted again, returning to a shadowy form. The second creature lashed out with long tendrils, like dark whips that stretched hundreds of meters. They wrapped around the Titan's legs and arms, pulling hard, trying to drag the giant down. The Titan's amber armor cracked, glowing brighter with each pull. The third creature opened a massive mouth, a hole filled with swirling darkness, and released a beam of pure void energy. The beam struck the Titan's chest. Amber metal burned black. The Titan staggered. The scientist shouted, "Titan armor integrity dropping." The Titan planted its feet into the floating rock, shattering the surface beneath it. Its chest pulsed with deep orange light. Then it spoke, voice booming through the ship's speakers. Engaging close combat protocol. Amber plates across its arms shifted, revealing sharp golden blades extending from its forearms. With a single motion the Titan spun, cutting through the tendrils gripping its limbs. The sliced tendrils evaporated into dark mist. The Titan launched forward. Its fist glowed like a small sun. Crack. The punch hit the first creature dead center. The shadow cracked like broken glass. Fragments flew out. But the creature reformed again, shaking with rage. The Titan didn't stop. It grabbed the creature by what looked like its throat and hurled it into the second attacker. Both flew across space, colliding in a swirl of darkness. The third infinite hunter prepared another void beam. "Captain, it's targeting us," the navigator screamed. The beam changed direction, and now pointed at the tiny human ship. The Titan reacted instantly. It launched itself in front of the humans. The void beam fired. Crash. It hit the Titan's back. Amber armor melted. Cracks spread. But the Titan endured. The captain stared with wide eyes. "It protected us." The giant slowly turned its head. Its golden eyes glowed fiercely. "Humanity will not fall." Then the Titan charged again. The hunters regrouped and attacked together. One swung its tendrils like spears. Another spat shadow bolts that destroyed asteroids instantly. The third grew massive wings made of void energy and dived forward like a predator. The Titan took all 3 head-on. Punches, kicks, energy blast, counterattacks. Each movement of the Titan looked like ancient martial art, a style built for fighting creatures older than civilizations. Still, the infinite hunters were adapting, changing, growing stronger. The scientist shouted from the console. "Their energy levels are rising. They're learning the Titan's attacks." The captain clenched his fists. "We need to do something. But our weapons are too weak." "Then distract them," the captain ordered. "If we draw their attention even for 1 second, it might help." The navigator swallowed hard but nodded. Firing all weapons. The tiny human ship launched missiles, lasers, plasma bursts. Everything it had. Most shots dissolved before reaching the creatures. But a few small blasts hit one of the hunters. Not much damage. but enough to make it turn. The creature screeched and redirected toward the human ship. The Titan saw it. A wave of amber light burst from its core. Not them. The Titan shot forward faster than before. A golden meteor streaking across the void. It slammed into the creature before it could reach the humans. The hit was so powerful that the shadowy body exploded outward like smoke in a storm. The other two hunters struck the Titan from behind, stabbing through cracks in its armor. The giant fell to one knee. The crew gasped. But the Titan rose again. Slowly. Painfully. Unbroken. Its voice shook with ancient fury. I have stood for 900,000 years. The hunters circled it. I will stand for 900,000 more. The Titan crossed its arms. Amber energy built around it like a rising star. The humans held their breath. The Titan roared. Solar detonation. A wave of pure golden fire exploded outward. A blast so bright the human crew had to shield their eyes. The infinite hunters screamed as the explosion consumed them. When the light faded, only drifting black ash remained. The Titan stood in the center, armor cracked, glowing weakly, but still standing. The captain whispered, "This machine is a hero." The Titan slowly turned to them. "The battle is not over." It pointed toward the breach. The tear was growing again. Bigger, wider, darker. The infinite were not done. This was only the first wave. Silence returned to space, but it was not peaceful. It was the silence after a storm, heavy and full of danger. The Amber Titan floated near the human ship, its armor cracked and darkened. Amber light flickered weakly under the damage, like the heartbeat of an exhausted warrior. Inside the human ship, no one spoke. Every crew member was staring at the giant outside. The machine that had stood against monsters no human had ever imagined. The captain finally broke the silence. "Open a channel. I want to speak to him." The navigator nodded, hands shaking, and activated the communication link. A deep hum filled the bridge. Then the Titan's voice answered. "Human vessel. You are unharmed." The captain swallowed, trying to stay calm. "You protected us. You fought alone. For us." The Titan did not move. "It is my function." But the way it spoke sounded tired. Very, very old. The scientist stepped forward. She looked at the Titan's damaged armor. "Titan, we want to understand. Who made you? What was your purpose?" For a long moment, the Titan stayed silent. Only the soft hum of its failing energy could be heard. Then the giant finally spoke. "I was created by the Solarii Empire." The bridge went silent. No one had heard that name before. The Titan continued. "They were the oldest star empire in this galaxy. Older than humans. Older than most races now living." The giant raised its head toward the distant stars. "And now all gone." The crew felt a cold sadness settle around them. The scientist whispered, "Your creators died fighting the infinite?" The Titan's eyes dimmed. "Yes. They fought until their last star burned out." Images appeared on the screens. The Titan was projecting memories. A galaxy full of bright golden cities. Millions of Solarii soldiers standing together. Fleets so large they covered entire star systems. Then the infinite came. Darkness. Shadows swallowing planets. Armies turning to dust. Stars collapsing. The bridge went quiet as the images played. The Titan spoke again, voice low and heavy. "The Solarii built me as a Guardian-class Titan. My only purpose. Protect life. Hold the line. Buy time." "Buy time for what?" the captain asked softly. The Titan answered with a slow, heavy tone. "Buy time for a future species. One strong enough to rise. One brave enough to fight. One that would not repeat the mistakes of old." Its glowing eyes turned toward the human ship. "I waited for that species." The crew felt a shiver. The Titan continued. "I waited for 900,000 years. Alone. Watching the stars fade." The navigator whispered, barely able to speak. You were waiting for us?" The Titan did not deny it. The breach pulsed again in the distance. A reminder that the infinite were still coming. But the humans focused on the giant. The scientist stepped closer to the window. "Titan, if your creators were so strong, why did they fall? How did the infinite defeat them?" The Titan stayed silent for a moment. Then its voice echoed with a mix of anger and sorrow. "The Solarii believed knowledge was their shield. But the infinite fed on knowledge. They believed power was their weapon. But the infinite consumed power. They believed victory was certain. But the infinite cannot be destroyed." The crew felt their hope tremble. The captain asked quietly, "Then how do we fight something that cannot be destroyed?" For the first time, the Titan's eyes glowed with a different light. A softer, almost proud glow. You do not destroy the infinite. It raised its broken arms, showing the cracks and scars. You resist them. The captain frowned. Just resist. The Titan nodded. The infinite feed on fear. Silence. Abandonment. When a world falls alone, the infinite grows stronger. Amber light flowed across the Titan's chest as it spoke. But when species stand together, when allies unite, when courage spreads, the infinite weaken. The scientist gasped. They are parasites of hopelessness. Correct, the Titan replied. The giant pointed toward the human ship. Your race is young. Your fleet small. Your weapons weak. The captain winced. But then the Titan added, Yet you did not run. You stood beside me. A small ship, but with a brave heart. The crew felt a sudden warmth. The Titan continued, This galaxy does not need strength alone. It needs unity. It needs hope. It needs a species that refuses to give up. Its eyes glowed brighter. That is why I protected you. That is why I waited for you. The human crew felt speechless. No one had ever said something like that to humanity before. The Titan's armor flickered again. A sign of damage and exhaustion. The scientist asked gently, Titan, how much power do you have left? The giant paused, then answered with calm honesty, Not enough. The captain stepped forward. Then we help you. Humanity will help you. The Titan looked at him. Will you stand with me? Against the infinite? The captain nodded. We will. The Titan bowed its head very slightly. A gesture of respect from a million-year-old warrior. Then humanity has taken its first step. Into the war of eternity. Behind them the breach grew wider. More shadows waiting to enter. More horrors coming. But this time, the Titan was no longer alone. The battle for the galaxy began in silence. The Amber Titan stood on the broken space rock, his amber light burning brighter than ever. Cracks of golden energy crawled across his armor. His ancient core was reaching full power, something it had not done for hundreds of thousands of years. In the distance, the infinite fleet appeared. Not one ship. Not one creature. But thousands. A black ocean of living machines. They moved like shadows with glowing white eyes. Their bodies bent and twisted like hungry beasts. Their engines made no sound, but the pressure in space changed. Even without noise, every living mind could feel the terror. The human fleet watched from behind a line of damaged asteroids. Admiral Rhea felt her hands shaking. Every officer around her held their breath. No matter what happens, she whispered, we stay out of his way. Because everyone knew the truth now. This was not a normal battle. This was a war between ancient forces. The Amber Titan stepped forward. Each step sent a shockwave through the rock. His voice echoed across every channel, human and infinite. Final directive, begin defense. A golden circle of light formed around him. It expanded, rising like a shield dome. The closest infinite creatures screeched as their bodies touched the barrier and burned away into dust. The enemy swarm reacted instantly. They rushed forward from all directions, above, below, behind. Thousands of black machines charged, forming a massive spiral around the Titan. They attacked like a storm of claws, teeth, and blades. The Titan moved with heavy grace. His arm lifted and transformed, shifting into a giant glowing cannon. He fired. A beam of golden light exploded across space, silent, but powerful enough to tear a hole through the infinite swarm. Hundreds of enemies vanished in one blast. But the swarm closed the gap again in seconds. Dozens of black machines crawled onto the Titan's body like insects. They tore at his armor. They stabbed into his joints. They tried to reach his core. The Titan did not stop. He grabbed 3 of them at once, crushed them in his fist, and slammed another enemy into the space rock so hard that the surface cracked open. The humans watched the impossible sight. He's fighting them alone, one officer whispered. He's holding the line, another answered. But the battle was becoming worse. A larger shadow appeared behind the swarm. A massive figure, taller, darker, older. It was one of the Infinite Lords. A commander-class destroyer. A living fortress of black metal and white fire. Its hollow eyes stared at the Titan. The Titan's armor flickered. His energy dropped for a moment. He knew this creature. Designation, Infinite Lord Verox, the Titan said. Last encounter, 900,000 years ago. The Lord spoke, its voice scraping across space like broken steel. You still resist. You still stand alone. You still hope. The Titan answered. I do not hope. I protect. The Infinite Lord moved like a mountain coming alive. It swung a giant blade made of dark energy. The blade struck the Titan directly, sending him crashing into the surface of the rock. The entire asteroid shook apart. Pieces of stone exploded outward, spinning into space. The Titan stood up again, slowly, painfully, but still strong. His amber armor was cracked. His glow was fading. But his core stayed bright. The Infinite Lord raised the blade for another strike. The Titan spread his arms, forming a barrier around himself and the rock. "Human fleet," he said, his voice weaker but controlled. "Prepare to leave. This is only the beginning. The Infinite grows stronger." Admiral Rhea felt her heart freeze. If this was only the beginning, what waited behind the Infinite Fleet? What were they truly running from? The Titan braced himself. The Infinite Lord lunged. The swarm followed. The final stand had begun. The battle ended in silence. Not peace, but a strange, heavy quiet. The kind that comes after a storm that almost consumes everything. The Amber Titan stood alone on the shattered asteroid. Its armor was cracked and melted in places. Amber light flickered weakly across the massive body. The scars of battle were everywhere. Yet, it was still standing. The breach in space had closed. The Infinite were retreating. Their shadows swallowed by the void from which they came. The human fleet hovered nearby, battered but alive. Small ships drifted around the Titan like tiny fireflies around a dying sun. The crew had survived, but only because the Titan had held the line. Captain Wren stared at the massive machine. "Is it over?" he asked softly. He didn't really want the answer. The Titan's amber eyes flickered. Its voice, deep and ancient, echoed across all channels. "The battle is won, but not the war." The humans felt a chill. If this was only one battle, then the Infinite could return. And the galaxy would never be the same. The Titan knelt slightly on the broken asteroid, looking at the human ships. "You have learned," it said. "You have seen courage. You have seen what stands against the Infinite. Remember this." The scientist, tears in her eyes, whispered, We will remember." The Titan continued, "My energy will not last long. I cannot fight forever. But I have given you time. Time to grow. Time to prepare. Time to become the guardians I could not." A soft hum escaped the Titan's core. Amber light flickered faster and faster. Then it started to dim. The captain approached the communication panel. "Titan, will you survive?" he asked quietly. The Titan's voice was almost a whisper now. "Survival is not my purpose. Protection is. I have fulfilled it. You must now carry my legacy." Outside, the asteroid trembled. Small pieces of rock floated into space. The Titan's body glowed one last time, brighter than ever, like a burning star in the void. Then, it collapsed, slowly. Power fading. The amber glow went dark. The humans drifted closer, silent. No one spoke. No one moved. The captain finally said, We saw a legend today." The navigator nodded. "A machine older than history. That fought for us when we could not fight for ourselves." The scientist added softly, "And it trusted us, even when it had been alone for 1,000,000 years." The Titan's body lay still. But its memory lived in the human fleet's sensors. Its energy signature would forever be recorded in the galaxy. It had fought, it had stood, it had inspired. The captain turned to his crew. "Humanity has a duty now. The Infinite will return. But so will we. We carry the Titan's courage with us." They nodded, hearts heavy but determined. Every crew member understood. This battle had changed them forever. The Titan had taught them that even a single being, a single machine, could stand against the Infinite, could resist despair, and could inspire hope in others. Months later, the story spread across human colonies. Ships carried the tale from system to system. The Amber Titan became a symbol, a guardian of courage. Children told stories of the giant that stood alone. Soldiers prepared their fleets, remembering the example it set. The galaxy remembered a warrior who had been alive before humans existed. A machine that had waited nearly 1,000,000 years to protect life. A soldier who had stood against darkness so vast it could erase stars. And somewhere, in the far reaches of space, the Titan's energy lingered. A quiet pulse in the void. A reminder that the Infinite may return. But courage, hope, and unity could stand against it. The human fleet left the asteroid. They carried a new mission, a new purpose. To protect life. To fight together. To never forget the Amber Titan. Its story would live forever. Not in metal, not in flesh, but in the hearts of those who would continue the war it had begun. The galaxy had witnessed a legend. The Amber Titan had fallen. But its spirit, its courage, had risen in humanity. And that was a force the infinite could never destroy.